Hello and welcome to Reviews. As always, I'm Plume Noir, and I did not expect to pick this up. I happened to see it and remembered I got the first issue, and here's Butters. Why do you always do this? She was just sitting on the floor until she heard me start talking, so then she has to kick in. So, well, I don't think she's been in a few videos, so we'll go ahead. We'll kind of move away from her. Um, anyway, I saw this on the shelf and remembered, oh yeah, I picked up the first issue of this because this is a continuation of Marvel's fantastic tradition of taking a book that's been canceled and then giving the original creative team a miniseries about that character. Not really to tie up loose ends or anything, just to keep them going. But I don't know why Marvel does that. So, they did it with Iceman. One could say they did it with Kelly Thompson, with West Coast Avengers being just a spin-off of Hawkeye, which it basically was. But here we have, Domino's book. In fact, Domino Hotshots. I'd have to dig out the last issue, but wasn't Domino's name much bigger on the cover of the first issue? Maybe I'm misremembering. But speaking of Domino, one thing about this cover, it looks, especially in her face, it looks like this is somebody's mom cosplaying as Domino. Something just does not look right about it. So, anyway, I think I cut the last issue before the big reveal that Deadpool had showed up. And he's out gunning for them. He's been employed to come get them. I've already forgotten why exactly why Deadpool showed up other than to be Deadpool. Now, this is also a reminder. I used to really, really like Gail Simone. Um, I'm a huge fan of The Secret Six. Yeah, pre New 52. Not the one that came out in New 52, but the original one. Um, and her Birds of Prey was really good. Um, and it's just like, at some point, I think she just started believing her hype and stopped trying. And I think I've said that before. And so it kind of pains me when I see stuff like that. Um, and this issue is basically a continuation of the Celestial MacGuffin from the that was set up in the previous issue. Um, eh, Overall, not really a lot happens to advance the story, the plot of this MacGuffin. They don't go after the astronaut that was infected with it. Well, they start to, I will say that, but now they're just kind of tied up with, they're getting sidetracked. And God, Gail tries to be funny. Please, please stop trying to be funny. It's not funny at all. So, it starts off with talking a little bit about Outlaw and how mainly Inez Temple wanted to raise hell, and it turned out good. Oh, and it turned out she was good at it, and she finally found something she didn't know she needed: sisters. I always find it weird in these books how all women love each other. It's all about the sisterhood. Have you ever dealt with women? I know it sounds bad. I mean, have you ever dealt in an office full of women? I have many times, and you end up having these little cliques, and it turns into this weird. I wish majored in psychology because it would be really fascinating to look at how they've developed these little cliques, and it really becomes this whole insider outsider thing. So whenever you see in media about, or people talking about, the sisterhood, women have to stand up together, I see it so rarely in practice. So that's why when I see stuff like this, I laugh. I really laugh at it because I never see this in practice. I just had to point that out. So we have Deadpool pointing his guns at them. Look, you all turn around and go home, and no one gets a sweet new skull crater. What do you say? Fair? I think it's super fair. So yeah, he's supposed to be there, I think, to pick up the device, the celestial artifact. But Inez, she got touched, and she's like, "Whoa, Skazen the Approver calls to me." And the secret is Savage Avengers. What a bad spot for a two-page ad, especially when it's a two-page splash of her, basically as a celestial, um, saying, and now and she remembers everything since the beginning of time. It's a cool page, Um, I think it's kind of weird that the Celestials are making a comeback. They're just in Jason Aaron's, New Avengers run. So, Deadpool's like, hey, is she okay? I think her bell got rung by the guy who had the artifact, Dr. Marzavov, whatever. Hey, sis, you good? You just get this page. Look at this pal. Look at that look on her face. Did you know time is an egg? The shell, it's nothing. It breaks when looked at wrong. Uh, Maybe you best sit this one out. One thing that I noticed in this book, the artist, who is the artist? Artist, David Baldion. He does this weird thing with their eyes. We're supposed to be like their head looking slightly down and them looking up. Kind of like, your head tilted down, you're looking up, kind of like, someone looking up over a paper. You know what I'm talking about. But the look when he does it, it looks like everybody's eyes are just rolling into the back of their head. Domino here is a great example. She's supposed to be looking up, but like kind of looking at her, maybe head tilt down, but it looks like she's just looking up at the sky. And you see that throughout this book. So yeah, then Black Widow takes her shot at them, and I don't really know. I guess he's supposed to be dodging out of the way of her blasts and shooting wildly at basically all the government agents, Natasha, um, the Fox girl, and the Wakandan woman. Um, and yeah, the jokes, you all get a sack lunch with a beat down sandwich. Heh, sack lunch. I just got that. Heh. No, no, it's not funny. No, it's not funny. And then Gail tries to pull it again when the Domino side of the team starts going, joining the fight. Where is it at that she says, um, you know, uh, the new kids in school, they don't know Wade. They think he's a clown. He's more like a grenade. You don't pull his pin unless you have a death wish. And then, of course, in her internal monologue, pull his pin. I just got that. And then the Fox, whomever she is, I've already forgotten. Um, she takes a shot at him, and he says, "All right, you want to get manga? Let's get manga." Now, I don't get this because Domino in the previous issue said that she thinks that this woman is a living anime. And of course, Wade says, calls her manga. You want to get manga? I don't see this. I see just a stereotypical woman with a staff, long silver hair, and a silver mask. She could be just about anyone. Color this purple, and you have Psylocke, Jim Lee's Psylocke just about. I don't get how this is supposed to be anime-esque or manga. It's something that is just not coming through in the art. So we have to be informed. They have to tell us. By the way, one little point in this issue I like, and it starts off with this. When Deadpool says you want to get manga with his head twisted behind his back, and he throws his guns behind him. I know it sounds really, really silly, but later on, we see him actually going back. Where's it at? Yeah, right here. I was looking over on the other page. He actually goes back and picks up the guns. I don't know why. I actually like that detail. Most of these comics are so bad they can't even follow the basic plot, and keep it. It's a little detail like that. He throws his guns, and then after everything settles down, he goes back and picks them up. How sad is it that that one little attention to detail, which, if this was a movie, that would go without saying. If he has guns later, how did he get them back? Um, that little detail, which should just be, something you do all the time. Um, Actually, it's like, oh wow, they paid attention to that. Good on them. How sad is that? So Domino talks Wade down, trying to calm him down. And, again, that whole eye rolling back. It's even bad when you have them all doing it. Because it makes them just all look like they're either rolling their eyes in disgust or they're possessed. um, for quite a while, I thought she just didn't have pupils. I thought her mask covered it. And does her mask not touch at the nose? Or is it just the way it's colored? Um, so yeah, Domino talks him down, and we get this little story that for some reason Wade is explaining to Domino his powers. Uh, when she asks him, "Your face going to be okay?" "Oh yeah, I'm fine. I have never-ending terminal cancer. Every day I pray for death as a sweet release for my internal bone-deep agony." Oh wow, Gail knows what it's like to read her own books these days. And so yeah, he's explaining this to her about his cancer, and she says, the dice didn't roll your way, and they hug it out. Okay, fine, whatever. But Domino knows Deadpool. Why is this all being explained? So yeah, now we go into Black Widow is starting to call orders, and Domino doesn't like this. "Widow, I think you forgot. This is my team." Your pardon, Domino. You're right, of course. What are your orders, Captain?" That thing you said. That we do. Go." Is that trying to be funny? So yeah, for some reason Deadpool is joining them, and she's trying to figure out what's going on with Outlaw. And she's just saying, "I guess I don't trust all this espionage stuff, and I don't trust these new cowpokes none too much." I hate reading Outlaw's dialogue. She sounds like every Texan stereotype there is. I really need to get through this quickly because now it comes down to Domino questioning, the three new girls on the team, and asking, "Are you working for your government? You're all government agents. This god artifact, you can't be handing it over to them." And you know, they say, "I have no secret of my loyalty. I am a Wakandan first. Um, I was formed in a Soviet Red Room. I paid whatever debt I owed my homeland long ago, and I protect my country." Is that to be condemned? None of that is a, excuse me. None of that is a denial, ladies. And again, with the eye rolling, you're going to see so much of that. I guess it's supposed to look tough, but like you see Outlaw, she looks like I don't know, like she's about to turn into a zombie or something. And again, that bunch of double dealing owl hoots is what. Did Gail just sit down and watch like the Heroes and Icons channel when they were doing Gunsmoke or something and decide she was just going to write all her dialogue like that? And then, "Don't look at me, I was promised there'd be empanadas." There's our food reference, right? And of course, to make the bad joke even worse, knowing Wade, that's entirely possible. So, yeah, Domino forces them to all swear. And it's funny, it almost doesn't look like Black Widow even raised her hand. Um, because the funny thing she says here is, "I'm going to need each of you to swear to me that that's what you plan to do. Help us destroy this thing. Not preserve it, not study it, demolish it. Raise your hand if you swear." So yeah, at first, because the black on black, and then the pilot raises her hand, and White Fox, that's her name. And yeah, last chance. There's a little pause before she raises her hand. What's funny about this is Domino is saying that if they don't raise their hand, they'll be dropped off and they'll have to walk home. She'll kick them off, whatever. One of these people is the pilot and owner of the ship. So, is that Atlas Bear? I think it is. Yeah, she is getting that one to swear. She's threatened her with her own ship. So, then they have to figure out how they're going to destroy this thing. They don't even really know what it is, if destroying this thing is even a good idea. And then the Wakanda says, "Warriors, please, I think we've been boarded." it's not quite really been bored. It's more like hacked because we find out Tony Stark is warning them to stop, and I'm going to stop on this. Um, at least we get Diamond back here. Um, Tony Stark's taking control of the ship, and he has remote suits, come out to stop them, which ticks off Domino. And because Stark didn't even show up, in fact, he just closed down the comms because they were too, I guess, too little league for his attention. Which, of course, if this is a whole celestial thing, why would Stark want it? I mean, he does live in the body of a celestial, a dead one. Um, in fact, they even say that um, I know the Avengers. They're good men and women, but they're already at the limits of power we can trust them with. They're already living in a celestial. Um, I think pretty much they're the best people to deal with whatever this celestial artifact is. And yeah, it gets stupid. Domino has a plan. She has Diamondback doing it's dumb, and yeah, this issue's stupid. I'm actually kind of surprised I spoke for 16 minutes on it because like I said, I like that one little bit. How bad is it? My favorite part of the book is that they showed Deadpool picking up his guns. That attention to detail. Maybe it's because I'm so used to how sloppy these books are anymore. But as far as the artifact, the Celestial MacGuffin, I don't know why I'm saying no. No, sign language, no. Don't I just see the cover, I just know it. I don't even know why I did that. Um, I they gave up on the artifact. You know, yeah, it's still being, you know, followed, but the whole MacGuffin of it, we have Outlaw, who's been infected with her hand. We've seen that happen before. Ooh, I just hit my phone. We saw that in the She-Hulk series, with Tamaki with the cake stuff, which was never followed up on, by the way. Um, it, this book's dumb, and why does Marvel keep doing this? Why do they keep bringing back canceled books as limited series? It's like, okay, you didn't buy it the first time. Hey, how about another chance? Here, we got this really good story, and it's not a really good story. If it was something really good, um, yeah, it'd be worth it. Bring it back like, hey, one last, hurrah! Seriously, check this out. This is awesome. This really isn't. It's a lot of talk about sisterhood, and yet it's a fractured team of two sets that don't really trust one another. And we have Deadpool in because, well, he's Deadpool, right? Everyone, I think me and Gwenpool are the only people who don't really like Deadpool. So I don't know why I bought this. It's not even really that good of a cover. We got middle-aged cosplay Domino on the cover, which is so interesting because Black Widow more or less looks fine, but I guess put Deadpool on the cover, sales boost maybe. Does that still even work? Anyway, stay away from this book. I, it's hard for me to judge it. It's not a good book. Um, it's doesn't really move the plot along. It is a limited series after all. We only have 3 more issues. If your plot is that bad that the main thing you're going after, you don't make any progress in getting it, then maybe this should have been a 4 issue limited series, and you can cut this part off. So yeah, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. And only because I gotta laugh at how many times you see characters with their eyes rolling back into their heads. If it was a drinking game, I would have alcohol poisoning. I could turn to just any random page to see it. It happens. It's happening over here, which doesn't even make any sense since Black Widow's here, Domino's over here. She's just looking up into the sky. Yeah, just looking up. Yeah, whatever. Skip it. Just skip this book. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.